Good afternoon and welcome to CEP Live on Facebook. We're here live at the Lawrence Public Library with Cille from the Kansas League of Women Voters. Thanks for joining us, Cille.
Thank you.
For those of you who have never watched CEP Live before, it's a weekly series of Facebook Live events that we hope will better connect you to the activities of the Kansas State Legislature. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m., the Climate and Energy Project will host live interviews with organizations whose mission includes one of the wealth topics, and wealth stands for water, energy, air, land, transportation, and health. You can like us on Facebook at CEP Heartland or on Twitter at CEP Heartland, or you can check us out on our website, climateandenergy.org. So every week the interviews roll about the same questions in the same format. So we try to make sure that our interviewees, as again today we've got Cille King with the League of Women Voters, can give you an update on current wealth policy priorities. They'll give you tips for civic engagement, which is Cille's expertise, and they'll talk about ways to engage with legislators and things to ask, and they'll also answer any of your pressing questions. So if you're watching this video and you have a question that you'd like to ask, you can enter it into the comments and we'll do our best to answer it. And before we get started, I just want to remind you all of our annual Wealth Day of Education and Advocacy at the Capitol. This year it's on March 12th. It's a wonderful time to come and engage with organizations like the League of Women Voters, and to meet with your legislators and really get tuned into the things that are happening on water, energy, air, land, transportation, and health in Kansas. So we're going to put the RSVP link in the comments there so you can register today. So welcome, Cille. Unfortunately weren't able to have Teresa Briggs. She was supposed to join us today, but the weather kind of a drag. She wasn't able to join us. But we're really happy to have you here today, Cille. Can you please tell our audience a little bit more about your organization and your work there?
Yeah, thank you. The League of Women Voters was formed in 1920 by the suffragettes shortly before the 19th Amendment was ratified. Founder Carrie Chapman Catt realized that the suffragettes, with their newly acquired right to vote, would need a way to be informed on the candidates and the issues to be an effective voter. The League is nonpartisan. We don't support or oppose any candidate or party. We are volunteers. And membership is open to any woman or man who is 16 years of age or older. We are a voice for all, working to connect people directly with the government. The League is nonpartisan. We don't support, sorry, I already did that.
That's okay.
Somehow my sheet was duplicated.
That's all right.
So
it's important to give all the information, right?
Right.
Twice sometimes.
Right.
All right, so can you tell us about your role in the organization?
Teresa and I are co-presidents, and we work in coordination with our state board, our 9 local leagues, and the members at large to share information on voters' rights and mobilize citizens on actions on specific legislation.
Okay, and how can our audience connect with your work?
The State League has a website. It's LWVK.org. Our Facebook page is LWV.KANSAS. And you can email us at lwv.kansas@gmail.com or call us. And we have a very knowledgeable part-time administrative assistant. You can also contact local leagues through their websites and Facebook, or attend meetings at your local communities.
All right, thank you for all that. The League of Women Voters is just an amazing resource, and we really do encourage you to connect with them. So Cille, can you talk to us a little bit about how the League of Women Voters work aligns with the wealth of water, energy, air, land, transportation, and health priorities?
Yes, each of these elements are essential in the lives of Kansas citizens. What we do is inform voters on bills and discussion related to any of these, and train citizens on how to approach their legislators to express their opinions. In addition to our studied positions on representative government, the League has position statements on natural resources, including environmental protection, public transportation, and agriculture, and on social policy, including equality of opportunity, fiscal policy, health care, immigration, meeting basic human needs, child care, early intervention for children at risk, violence prevention, gun control, urban policy, death penalty, sentencing policy, and human trafficking. We study just about everything. And the League advocates on all these positions and all these issues.
It sounds like you've certainly got your hands full. Could you give our audience an update on any pressing wealth policy issues this session?
Well, Kansas needs funds in order to invest in the people and the programs that benefit Kansas. The Brownback-Collier tax cuts devastated revenue and caused 9 rounds of budget cuts. 85% of those budget cuts benefited the top 15% of households. The 2017 tax plan only reinstated about 2/3 of the revenue, as the upper income tax brackets were not restored. The Trump tax cuts compound the problem of income inequality, as the majority of the tax cut also goes to the very wealthy, and Kansas could restore revenue by restoring a top income tax bracket. The League is one of the main organizations working on voting rights. We need citizens to be engaged, informed, and to exercise the right to vote. We need everybody's voice to be heard. It's the only way to have a representative democracy. Barriers to voting or voter registration and voting most impact low-income, minorities, the older and the younger voters. The League advocates for voting laws and procedures that make voting efficient and relatively easy. We are advocating for Election Day registration, which increases voter turnout by 10 to 12% in the 19 states that have passed Election Day registration. We advocate for permanent mail ballot applications, expanding early voting to 28 days before an election, removing the Secretary of State from appointing the election commissioners in counties with populations over 130,000, ending Kansas participation in the Interstate Crosscheck program, and enrolling in ERIC, which stands for the Electronic Registration Information Center, to help keep our voter rolls up to date, and removing the statute requiring proof of citizenship documents for first-time Kansas voters. The League advocates for transparency in government, put sponsors' names on the bills, record all the votes, limit gut and go, and vote for new rules that prevent overly partisan blocking of legislative process. The League also advocates for funding for the Kansas Water Plan, creating a statewide energy plan like 44 other states, reducing air pollutants, increasing sustainable agriculture, fully funding our Department of Transportation, and expanding Medicaid.
So if you're also sitting there and thinking, wow, I didn't know the League of Women Voters did that much stuff, they do.
That's right.
They're a very, very active organization, and as she said, all mostly volunteer run. So if you're watching this video and you're not watching live, like say you are watching this at 5 o'clock tonight after you got home, and you have questions for Cille or for Teresa, who wasn't able to join us, you can enter them into the comments, and we'll catch those questions later. But if you are watching live, feel free to ask any questions you have today. But before, it doesn't look like we have any questions that have come through, so Cille, I'd like to ask you, what are your top tips for effective civic engagement and or like effective strategies that you would recommend people use?
Well, first, we suggest that you get to know your policymakers at every level, local, state, and national. Take the opportunity to attend forums and other events that offer time to introduce yourself and let them know, very briefly, what your primary concerns are. And second, offer your help in providing educational material to support your position. You want to be a resource that legislators can count on for reliable information.
All right, and what questions would you ask a legislator about your policy priorities?
Well, there are quite a few, as you can imagine, but perhaps some of the top ones. First, will you support making our elections more inclusive and efficient by voting for Election Day registration? Second, will you end Kansas being one of the darkest states by requiring names on bills, recording all votes, restricting get and go, and allowing legislators to move popular bills forward? Right now, Senate and House committee leaders can decide whether they want a bill to be brought forward and voted on, even if the majority of the committee members want it to go forward. And third, we fund public education, expand Medicaid, fund your highway programs, the Department of Children and Families, the water plan, and all the other needs that the state has with a progressive tax plan.
Thank you for all of that. Again, I want to remind you, if you're watching and you have questions, you can enter them in the comments. So, Cille, last year we really encouraged people to register to vote, and we saw great turnout in the elections. We know that it's something that kind of comes up. You know, if you have a big campaign, you get people to register to vote, or you get people to go talk to their legislators, what have you, that there's excitement and then it kind of wanes after a while. So what would you recommend that people could do to maintain voter engagement in between election cycles?
Well, one is to get to know your legislators. They're very approachable in almost all sense. They are in your home communities and active in events throughout the year. It's important to create and foster a good relationship with them so that when a particular situation arises and when one needs their help, your name or face is familiar and they know where you stand. We have 9 local leagues in Kansas that are working to create and we're working to create leagues in southeast and southwest Kansas. We have 38 at-large members in the state, from Goodland down to Garden City and Liberal, and to the far southeastern parts of the state in Pittsburgh and Independence. Membership is a good investment and affords a vast opportunity to actively advocate and interact with policymakers at the state, local, and national levels. And it's a matter of perhaps enrolling in your local newspaper, getting subscription to your local newspaper, being informed and supporting journalism and the media is one of the best ways to be active.
That's an interesting suggestion. Thank you for sharing that one. So do you have any opportunities for engagement? Is there any League of Women Voters meetings or anything coming up in the near future that people could come to if they wanted to join?
Well, your own CEP day at the Capitol on March 12th. We'll have a table there, and you can join the league there. You can go on our website and join. Our website also has links to all the 9 local leagues, and each of those leagues has membership availabilities, and they'll usually state when the next meetings are. Meetings vary by local leagues. Our state board meets once a month, and most local leagues meet once a month and also have programs once a month in addition to that. So yes, check our website for links to those local leagues and their activities. Currently we're in Lawrence, and we were going to have a Drinks and Democracy event tonight at 5, but because we have weather forecast for freezing rain at 5, that looks like that will be postponed to Friday night at 5 at Johnny's North Tavern.
Oh.
And the Topeka League usually has their monthly programs on the first Tuesday at the library in Topeka at noon. And again, the Kansas City Johnson County League has their monthly programs on the first Saturday at 9, I believe, at the one of the churches in Johnson County. So again, you can find links to those programs and those times on our websites.
That sounds like there's an awful lot of opportunities to engage. And that Drinks and Democracy, that's what you said?
Right.
Right, on this coming Friday, Johnny's North. What a great way to end out the week. And hopefully
Right.
The weather will be better on Friday.
We hope so.
As you heard Cille mention, there is the Kansas Wealth Day coming up, and for the past several years we've been thrilled to have the League of Women Voters have a table there and sponsor the Wealth Day of Advocacy and Education. This year, again, it's on March 12th. We have spaces available for sponsors to set up a booth, and you can visit with the legislators who come through and the people who attend Wealth Day but also there's always so many people who are at the Capitol for unrelated events that will just come by and they'll learn about your organization. So it's some really great coverage. And it's kind of fun too, right?
It is fun.
It is fun, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're just an average person and you are thinking that it might be kind of fun to go, we really encourage you to do it. It's a great way, especially if you've never really been involved or gone to the legislature, or if the idea of talking to your representative or senator is intimidating. Come to Wealth Day, because we will connect you with somebody who can help you. Like, we can set you up with advocate support. So some nice person like Cille may say, I'd be happy to go with you and talk to your legislator with you. And then you learn the process. And it's fun, and we have a great local foods lunch and some cookies at the end of the day. So it's a good time for everybody. We're going to put that RSVP link in the comments. I don't think we've had any questions in today's live stream interview, but again, if you're watching this after hours and you're thinking, man, I didn't know that the League of Women Voters was so powerful and so amazing, and you think, I wish I would have been able to ask Cille a question, go ahead and ask it in the comments and we'll connect with her and fill you in. So our next interview, again, we do these every Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Our next interview is going to feature Modi Reber with Kansas Interfaith Action. That'll be next Tuesday, January 29th at 2 p.m. And if you follow CEP on Facebook or you sign up for our newsletter or our email list, you'll get the full schedule, and you can put it on your calendar to join us every Tuesday at 2. So with that, we'll go ahead and sign off for the day. Thank you so much for joining us, Cille.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for helping us preserve our Kansas wealth and lead the way to a clean energy future.